In 2008, a seemingly routine day on the roads of Iowa took a chilling turn, reminiscent of a haunting 1979 case. In the Michelle Davis investigation, where the police believed it was a common car accident, the truth unveiled a harrowing murder that spanned over 4 decades. Thanks to the dedication of law enforcement, groundbreaking investigative techniques, and the enduring strength of the victim's family, justice has finally prevailed in this case. Hi and welcome back to our channel. If you are new here, please consider subscribing, as it helps us motivate to create more intriguing content for you. Let's have a look at the case that detectives can't explain. Michelle Davis was born on December 15, 1966, and she was born in Iowa. It is often referred to as the Hawkeye State, is a unique and captivating region located in the American Midwest. With its picturesque landscapes, rich cultural heritage, and strong agricultural roots, Iowa offers a diverse tapestry of experiences for residents and visitors alike. One of the defining features of Iowa is its remarkable natural beauty. The state boasts vast expanses of farmland, with rolling hills, lush plains, and winding rivers. The Missouri River delineates its western boundary, and the mighty Mississippi River serves as the eastern border, offering residents and tourists opportunities for outdoor recreation, such as boating, fishing, and hiking. Additionally, the state's landscape transforms into an enchanting winter wonderland, perfect for snow-related activities. Iowa is renowned for its thriving agriculture industry. Corn and soybeans are the state's primary crops, contributing significantly to the nation's food supply. The state is also known for its dedication to sustainable farming practices, making it a hub for agricultural research and innovation. The people of Iowa are known for their warm hospitality and strong sense of community. The state's smaller towns and larger cities alike provide a sense of belonging and a genuine, friendly atmosphere. Iowans often gather for community events, including county fairs, festivals, and high school sports, fostering a strong bond among residents. The 41-year-old woman had 3 kids and lived in Des Moines in 2008. With the court's approval, she was about to start a new part of her life. Michelle was excited about beginning a new life. She already lived in a different apartment and got a court order to keep her husband, Randy Davis, away from her. During the years before the split, the family did not get along well. Friends and family say Michelle was a friendly, active person who loved motorcycles and going on trips. When she worked as a secretary for a trucking company, people respected and trusted her. Michelle worked on September 11, 2008. People at work noticed that she looked lighter after getting divorced. They thought it was because she was free of a heavy load that had been burdening her for a long time. But a good mood that day, Michelle left work around 4:30 p.m., having taken care of everything she needed to. Soon after, 911 started getting calls from people who saw an accident on Interstate 235 and told the operator about it. People were still wearing seatbelts in the driver's seat of the upside-down Mercury Sable. She was not awake. The doctors who arrived at the scene were sorry because they could not save her. When the police got to the scene of the accident, they decided that Michelle had lost control of the car and caused the crash. Forensic experts came to the conclusion that Michelle did not die when she hit her head during the rollover. A bullet wound to the head killed her. They took out the bullet and sent it to be looked at in the hopes that it would help them find the criminal. The detectives who were working on this case had never seen anything like it before. While they waited for the results of the ballistics test, the police chose to make sure that everyone on the street was safe. What if Michelle was just a random target who was not picked ahead of time? What if there was a shooter who kept killing people? There are a lot of cars that drive on this highway, and the angry shooter could target any of them. It was very important to get this case solved quickly, so the police began to walk around the city more often. Once it was clear that Michelle's death was not an accident, police went to the crime scene to try to figure out where the shooter was and if he left any clues, but it did not make anything happen. They did not find the cartridge case or any other clues that could help with the probe. The traffic services cleared the scene because the police first thought Michelle had been in a car crash. If there was any proof, it was destroyed so it could not be found again. The detectives did not give up hope. They thought that by looking at the recordings from the traffic cams, they might be able to find answers. As soon as the agents got the recordings from the traffic cameras, they started to look at them. They had to find the recording from the camera that was closest to the crime scene and play it back to the point where people began calling 911. After 30 minutes, the police found what they were looking for. Michelle's car was lying on its back in the video. But the video was not very good. It was more like a slideshow with short breaks between each picture. Because of this, the police only had a few shots, and none of them showed what caused Michelle's car to flip over. It was a bad turn of events because the detectives were sure they already had the clue they needed, but it turned out to be false hope. The police only had to keep going through the rest of the camera footage and look for possible eyewitnesses. While the police continued to look at footage from other traffic cameras, the officer in charge of Michelle Davis's case called her family to tell them that she had not died in an accident, as was first thought. Michelle's family was shocked when they heard that she had been a victim of a crime. Patty, Michelle's mother, died a long time before Michelle did. For her dad, Michael Lee Costner, it was the death of his second daughter. Michelle's bigger sister, Cheryl Sue, was his first daughter. She died when she was about a year old. After 43 years, Michael Costner has lost another child. For parents, dying before their kids is the worst thing that can happen. Michelle's family told the police that her life was slowly changing and that she was not having any money issues. But Michelle's family thought that her husband, Randy Davis, was the only person who could hurt her. In the end, the court almost granted their divorce, and she asked the police to keep him away from her. At the same time, another officer went to Michelle's place of work to talk to her coworkers. That is how the police found out Michelle was seeing someone else closely after she broke up with her husband. His name was Matt Jorgensen, and he worked with her. Michelle's friends said that this couple felt the same way about each other. Michelle was working on getting a divorce from Randy Davis, so they chose to keep their relationship a secret. Only close friends and coworkers knew about it. Randy Davis and Matt Jorgensen were now two possible suspects for the police. It was impossible to get in touch with Randy. All calls went to messages. When detectives met with Matt, they wanted to know where he was on the day Michelle died. He did not hide anything. He told everyone that he was seeing Michelle. They never fought or disagreed. It shocked the man that Michelle had died, so he told her everything he did on the day she died. His alibi was true, so the police took him off the list of suspects. When the ballistics test results came back, it was clear that the murder weapon was a .22 caliber gun. The experts agreed that it was a shot from close range. Since the whole thing happened on the interstate, the police thought the shooter was most likely in a car next to Michelle. There was also a new suspect in this case. The insurance company called the police to say that Todd, Michelle's brother, was claiming payment under her life insurance. Though it is not uncommon for people to commit crimes in order to get money from life insurance, was this one of those cases? Could Todd have killed his sister to get this money? The police officer went to his house to talk to him. When he asked Todd where he was when Michelle died, Todd knew the police were looking at him as a possible suspect. He talked about everything he did on the day his sister died. Todd said that their family was having a hard time with money and could not afford to give Michelle a proper funeral. That is why he went to the insurance company for money for Michelle's funeral. When the police checked Todd's story, they found that he was in a different part of the city when Michelle died. That is why Todd did not shoot her. There was still information that Todd gave the police that helped them find another suspect, Josh, who was Michelle's stepson. Randy already had a son from a past marriage when Michelle married him. Michelle died on the road, and Josh was already an adult. He was a Marine who had just gotten home from the Army. Josh was a suspect because he knew how to use guns. The police began to look into whether Josh had any reasons for committing this crime. At the same time, the police got another hint. A woman said that she was going on I-235 at the same time and on the same day that Michelle's car flipped over. The person who called said she saw a red pickup truck, probably a Ford F-150, whose driver was acting oddly by weaving in and out of lanes. That made it look like he was after someone. The woman only saw a white adult guy in a baseball cap, which is what she said the driver was. the detectives began to look into this new information because it seemed important. It was time to look at more footage from the traffic cameras. This time, they wanted to see if there was a red pickup truck close. According to the video, a red pickup truck was following Michelle right from work, so the woman was right. But once more, the police could not see the driver's face or the license plates on the red pickup truck because the video quality was not good enough. Investigators came to the conclusion that the red pickup truck was following Michelle around by driving the same route as her and recording everything she did. There was a good chance behind it. Also, Michelle was getting close to where she was going to die when the pickup truck pulled up behind her. Based on this information, it looks like the criminal fired the fatal shot while moving. Detectives quickly found out that Michelle Davis's husband, Randy Davis, owned a red pickup truck. They already had a list of possible suspects. Detectives went to his house right away. Randy was not home, but Josh was. He was in the Marines and knew how to properly handle guns. He also had permission to use his dad's car. Josh told the police that he and his sister went shopping the day Michelle died. He went back home afterward and watched TV that night. Among other things, he said Michelle's split from his father was hard because she wanted to get half of the house's value. Josh also said that his dad got home around 5:30 p.m. Josh's story did not seem likely. This talk also made it clear that he might have a reason for committing the crime. Josh was upset that his stepmother took some of his property while he was getting a divorce from his father. But these were just guesses because there was no real proof. Without proof, there is no arrest and no charges. The police looked for new leads while Michelle's family got ready for the funeral. The police started to look in all the stores and gas stations along the road that led from her workplace to the place where she died in the hopes of finding more surveillance footage. A store a few miles from where she worked as a truck driver was where the police found more important surveillance footage for their investigation. The security camera was inside the store, but it could still see some of the parking lot. Michelle died on September 11, 2008. Around 4 p.m., a red pickup truck pulled up to the store and stopped at the front door. The police knew that Randy Davis owned the pickup truck, but since Josh could also use it, they had to figure out who was driving it that day. The video showed the driver getting out of the car and going into the shop. However, the tape was not very clear, so investigators could not tell whether it was Josh Davis or his father. The man disappeared from the camera's view for a while, but he came back after a while, bought something, and left the shop. After that, he got in his car and drove off. Please remember that everything took place at 4 p.m., and Michelle left work at 4:30 p.m. The police kept looking at the video and found that the pickup truck came back to the shop several times in the next 30 minutes. The driver did not get out of the car, though. Instead, he or she turned around and drove off again. The pickup truck last showed up near the store when Michelle got off work. The police tried to get in touch with Michelle's husband again, but were unable to name the suspect. The second person finally called and went to the police station. As a reminder of his rights, the detectives told him he was not arrested. Randy agreed to talk about some things. What did he have planned for September 11th? Randy talked about going through the hard process of getting a divorce with Michelle. They had been married for 17 years, after all. He also said that he was a handyman and working that day, according to Josh, who said that his father came home around 5:30 p.m. This was not in line with the surveillance video. Randy said he did not leave the house until 3:45 p.m. He said he was by himself at home, but then his son Josh came over and they cooked dinner together. Again, this information went against what Josh said. He told police that he was already home when his father arrived. Father and son both had alibis that counted on each other. When the police talked to Randy, they found out that one of them was lying. Investigators told Randy that Michelle died from a bullet wound, not injuries she got in a car accident, to see how he would respond. In the end, Michelle's family was the only ones who knew about it since the police did not tell anyone else. Randy did not really do anything in response to the news. He just lowered his eyes and pretended to be surprised. When the police asked Randy when he had seen Michelle last, he asked for a lawyer, and there was no more talking. The investigation did not find the gun that was used to kill Michelle or any other important proof that could be used to make an arrest. They had to let him go. 4 days after Michelle died, on September 15, 2008, her family and friends came together for a funeral. Randy Davis was one of the people who came to say goodbye to Michelle. He tried to show through the way he looked that what had happened was a big loss for him. At one point, he even started to cry. But who was to blame for Michelle Davis's death? The police did everything they could to quickly find an answer. Help came from place no one thought it would. Josh Davis went to the police station with his lawyer and said he needed to say something. It was his father's car in the garage when he got home from seeing his sister, according to what he said. There was his father in the house with a gun. When he walked in, Randy told his son that now was not a good time to come. That is what Josh said. He knew what his dad was doing. He tried to stop him and begged him not to do things he would subsequently regret. Randy got in his car anyway and drove off. He put the car in the garage when he got back. When Josh went to the garage, his dad told him that he had shot Michelle. When Randy Davis's wife filed for divorce, she sued him for part of the land. This made him angry. He just could not take it anymore, so he chose to do something very bad. Randy waited for Michelle to leave work on September 11, 2008, by parking his red pickup truck outside the shop. He drove by Michelle's workplace more than once because he did not want to miss the chance. That is why Randy showed up more than once on the store's ECTV tape. He went after Michelle when she got off work. He rolled down the window on the passenger side and fired when the time was right. The police arrested Randy Davis based on Josh's story. Taking Michelle's life got him first-degree murder charges. Randy did plead guilty to second-degree deprivation of life in exchange for a lighter term, but he changed his mind before the trial. Because of this, Randy Davis was given a 50-year prison term in 2010. Since he pleaded guilty, there will be no trial. Todd Costner acknowledged that missing a trial might have meant missing some justice, but the desired outcome had been achieved. What are your thoughts about this case? Let us know in the comments section. Thanks for watching and stay safe.